Hi, my name's Shorful and welcome to another one of my videos where I talk about the real world of data. In today's video I'm going to cover off the topic of what is a data engineer and how does it actually differ from a data scientist. Now, a lot of people have been looking at job descriptions where it's asked for specifically for a data engineer and they're wondering, well, doesn't a data scientist do that? Why do you need a specific data engineer role when you've got a data scientist? Well, the thing you've got to bear in mind is that if you understand data science to be sort of a generalist, okay, across all of those spectrums, so a data scientist can actually extract data. They can write simple enough code, or they can write code to extract data from APIs from other systems. They know how to connect to SQL databases. They know how to connect to non-SQL databases. Then they know how to extract that data, put it into an environment where they can analyze it. I mean, data scientists are also capable of firing up instances of cloud instances where they need to analyze data if their laptop or their PC is not powerful enough. Data scientists can also manipulate that data. They can also run machine learning algorithms on that, and then they can sort of create MVPs around some of the products. So a lot of the time they'll produce sort of insights and information to help decision making, but data scientists also do create data products or prototypes of data products, which demonstrates the value of that data. So what do data engineers do that's different to that? Well, data engineers typically sit at the first part of what a data scientist does, which is connect to source systems and move that data from a source system to an environment where it needs to be analyzed. But they do it on a more industrial scale, whereas a data scientist might do it as a one-off, or they might do it manually because they need to run analysis at a monthly frequency or a weekly frequency, whatever frequency they need to run it, they might do it manually, whereas a data engineer will automate this. Okay, so what they're going to do is they're going to be saying, right, okay, you've got data in this source system, I need to get that from there into an environment where it can be used either by data scientists to analyze the data, or actually by machine learning engineers, which I'll cover off in a next video, where machine learning engineers will take that automated feed of data and then they will run their analysis on it. Okay, so what do typically data engineers do? Well, like I said, they move the data from source A or from the source systems in a method that allows it to be automated, so it's hands off. So they write the code or they create the data pipelines to move it across to where it needs to be in order for analysis, for reporting, for machine learning algorithms to use and automatically update. Now, historically, these kind of roles would have sat in data warehouse teams, and you had someone who specialized in ETL, so someone who could write scripts to be able to extract data from systems, extract, transform, and load it into data warehousing. Data engineers are not that dissimilar in that they do that ETL, but sometimes they might just extract and load the data into data lakes, for example, for it to be later transformed either by themselves or by machine learning engineers or by the data scientists themselves to use for whatever purpose they need for it. Okay, so what they will do is typically they'll build the data pipelines, they'll build the data systems that they need in order to move data across, and then they'll also maintain those. They'll maintain it to make sure it's optimum, because what you don't really want to do is it takes like a day to move over a day's worth of data, because then it's like another 24 hours delay before the machine learning algorithm gets access to it. So they'll try and create the optimal data flow or the optimal data pipeline in the production environment to be able to move that data efficiently. They'll also, in some instances, build the infrastructure required for optimal extraction. Okay, so what you might find is that, let's say they're connecting to a third-party system. It has an API that allows them to extract data that they need, but they need to put it somewhere. Okay, so data engineers would then, either build something, usually typically in the cloud. So data engineers typically work in the cloud rather than on-prem, but it is feasible that they work on-prem as well. But typically they would create that infrastructure so that the data can come and it can sit somewhere to be processed and analysed and even transformed for later use. Sometimes they might even create some tools or some code and scripts to allow the data scientists to be able to easily ingest that data or easily use that data. So the other thing that data engineers do is also they sort of maintain these data pipeline that they have to be scalable. So if there's more volume of data coming in, then it's scalable that it can do. So they're not rebuilding again. So they'll work out a way to do the ingestion of the data so that it's scalable, that it can handle larger volumes of data. The other thing is obviously they sort of maintain these systems as well to make sure that they're able to monitor not only sort of the data coming in, but also the quality and consistency of that data. And typically, they would create code or scripts to let them know when something doesn't look right, or they'll use the relevant tools. So there are a lot of tools out there also that data engineers use that allows them to ingest data without having to create a script for every integration. So tools like Fivetran, for example, they're able to use those to connect to systems and pull those data in, but then they decide how it goes in their infrastructure and where it sits. Okay, so that's essentially what a data engineer does. They essentially take data from a system and put it into another system where data scientists or machine learning engineers or other parts of the business are able to use that data easily. Now, some of you will say, well, actually, why can't data scientists do that? And again, if you look at the role itself rather than the person doing the role, a data scientist, like I said, is a generalist role. So they should be able to be good at everything, but not excellent or very deep expertise in any particular area. Now, the individual in that role might come from a background where they have worked in the ETL process. So therefore, they may be really good at that part. And so therefore, they're able to do the job of data engineer. But that's the individual rather than the role. So I think sometimes it's worth bearing in mind that sometimes you have people in roles who also have an expertise in a particular area, and they're able to do the job of that particular role. So for example, a data scientist who has a good software development background or a good data warehouse development background may have the coding skills to be able to be a good data engineer. But like I said, that's the person, not the role. So a data scientist wouldn't generally be expected to do what a data engineer does, which is to automate and productionize the ability to ingest data and make it readily available. And automation is key, because a lot of time data scientists don't automate. They create code that's one-off that allows them to do their job, okay? But like I said, there may be data scientists in roles who have that expertise and they can do it. So that's really what a data engineer does, how it differs from a data scientist. And it is actually a really booming career at the moment, because what you're finding is that there's so many different data sources now, not only internally within the organization, but also being able to collect from externally. And a lot of these external data source systems also have APIs, so that you can connect to them and extract data. So you need data engineers to be able to automate that, because what you don't want to do is every day in the morning run a script to extract that data. You want it to happen automatically. So that's why you would need a data engineer. Well, thank you for listening to my videos. I hope you found it useful. If you have any comments, put it in the YouTube comment sections below. Please do like the video, and of course, please do subscribe to my channel. Thank you.